In Meetup 3, I started with Ember, and in Meetup 3 I thought, after all this experts talking about Ember, I thought, well, let's give a talk about my Bloggr exploration. I started with a Bloggr example from Tom Dale, and it was with fixture, the fixture adapter and fixture system, and it was very simple, and I thought, yeah, that's simple, but now I want to have JSON API. So I started with the module before everybody was doing JSON API. I started with implementing that, and then I thought it's not working the way I like it, and I asked a question, and Nolan, for the writer from Ember Pouch, replied, "You can do it like this, but I suggest you use Pouch, Ember Pouch." Well, I thought that's interesting. I worked in the past with Perl and Berkeley DB, so it was also a store that has no, it's also no SQL before it was called no SQL. And then I started to use Ember Pouch, and I liked the concept. I learned more and more, and I changed my Bloggr example for everybody to see it. It's on the internet, and everybody can take a look and follow what I'm doing. I changed it in time, learning, and I changed it to components. I deprecated controller, and I was waiting for the router that would not need a controller, but that's not on the roadmap anymore or something, or it's very far away. There are new things like fast boot that are more prioritized, and the new Glimmer 2 is in the Bloggr example I just released, because the Ember 2.10 has Glimmer 2 rendering, and it's very fast. There are steps, we're not there, but it's almost there. Ember Source is the new NPM module for Ember that gets almost all the power dependencies away. And so for the Bloggr example, I also started to move all the power dependencies to NPM. So it's a project just to learn for me. I'm not an expert to learn everything and stay focused on the rest. And if big applications we build fail, I can always take a look at the Bloggr example and say, why isn't it failing there? So it's also some kind of reference for me, my personal reference. So that's what the Bloggr example has become. I will show it online. So this is what it has become. It was a very simple application in the beginning, but now it has pagination, it has filters, and it has authentication for now. And that's also a big step, because if you've got an application and you want to authenticate with Pouch and offline first, you get in all kinds of trouble, because if you're if you're authenticated and you step onto a plane, you have to be able to do all things you should be able to. So I clicked on the secret route, and I can't go there because I have to log in with very difficult passwords and username. So if I log in connected to the backend says okay, you're logged in, and now you can see the secret route. But after that, if I step on the plane and I work on my system, I need to go to all the routes because I'm authenticated, and it works with this system. I can show, if I log in here, the secret route is here. If I log out, then I'm still on the internet now. And if I create a new record, you see that I'm synced from the internet, but I'm not logged in, so I'm not allowed to push my information that's offline to the online database. And that's what the warning, I had to think about warnings for the user to be able to understand that he has not synced all his data. And so if you now log into the system, it will push the data, the new record, and it will be green again. And if you disconnect your Wi-Fi, I don't know if it's a good thing to do here. We'll try. I don't know where the setting is, I didn't see it. So now there's no Wi-Fi on this system, but now the green buttons say I'm still synced, but that's not correct. The system has to find out that he's on a plane or something, and now he found out that there's no connection because you need, as a user, you have to have some feeling that you're not now on a plane and you don't have Wi-Fi, but you're synced to your data is now synced correct, so that's green. So it has to. I had to find out some new ways to think about syncing because now I'm up to date locally. But I'm not, if somebody on the internet changes something, I'm not up to date with their data. So if they change something, I'm not connected. I will try to enable this again. Yeah, so the pouch system I use together with Couch, I hooked into some hooks to find out if I'm connected or not. So it should be aware that I'm now on the internet again, and it's going to grow green. Yeah. So that's a short introduction to what the Bloggr example has become. It has made me use Ember Pouch everywhere. As a company, we've got quite a big system where people walk into steel-framed warehouses and they lose Wi-Fi and they just work on, and if they come back into the Wi-Fi, everything is synced back, and they do it on Apple tablets and on Android tablets. So you don't have to use Windows or anything to create it. So it's very nice to do that. Also, because with the CouchDB database we use has almost everything in it, we don't need a backend except for sending emails. So if you want to send an email from an application, then you have to have a backend. But IBM started the Open Whisk project that can run Node for me, and it can see changes in the CouchDB database. So if the database changes, if you, for instance, say I'm putting an email in the outbox, Open Whisk can see the change and mail the data to somebody. So if you start using this system, you start to think backwards, but it's I'm liking it, and it's becoming more robust and robust. Offline first. The application can also be started, the Bloggr example, if you don't have Wi-Fi and you go to the URL bloggr.xmer.com, it will load, because I used the manifest Broccoli manifest tool to cache everything in your browser, and then it will always load. I'm just telling what I've created, and if somebody has a question about it, please interrupt me.
How do you discover that someone's online or offline? What API are you using for that? Because I learned that you can, browsers are extending their APIs more and more. What you did in the past with like native code, you can now also detect with JavaScript whether somebody is online or offline.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
That's what you are doing.
But I'm not pinging something. I'm just monitoring the sync system from pouch to couch, and if it fails, I can see that it fails, and I can show the buttons, and I can reason about it, and it's like this. It's always correct.
So can I say that you're catching an exception or something like that?
Yeah. I'm actually some kind of using the error to detect if I'm offline.
Yeah, all right. That was
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the Bloggr example was hosted in Apache before on one of our servers, and the couch database we have run in Irish couch, which went down. And then we moved to CloudEnd, which is from IBM, also a couch DB database, but you can use any couch DB database for what it's built with. If you would like to try the example and you don't want to have the backend installed, you can, because Pouch in the front end does everything, so you can run it without the backend and still try it out. There were, when we first were on CloudEnd, the Bloggr example was on Apache on one of our servers, and then we moved not only the data is now in Couch in CloudEnd, but also the Ember application we moved to CloudEnd. And then we said we have got we installed a CNAME in the DNS for our CloudEnd system, and then we had the blogger.xmer.com working, but it wasn't enough. You had to use HTTPS, and the strange thing is, I asked IBM, I want HTTPS for my host. I will explain the VOs later. But they said, we don't have it. And you can get it for, you can go for your own system and you can pay $500 a month, and then you can have HTTPS. For a simple example like this, I thought, well, that's a bit much. So I was searching for how to solve that, and they literally took me 3 months, and I didn't have an answer from IBM how I could solve it for less money than a complete stack. And then I found Cloudflare could proxy the HTTPS signals from CloudEnd, but the signals from the HTTPS that CloudEnd provides does not understand VO, so the certificates are always wrong. But Cloudflare detects that and corrects it and gives me the correct set of certificates. So if you now go to the Bloggr example, you see it's HTTPS and it's all right, and it's all because Cloudflare does everything for you. And the only thing you have to do is put their DNS on the system and do the right CNAME. This is all there is to. The second line is that all there is to do to get Cloudflare working with HTTPS, and you don't have to buy certificates because they're in their system. And for systems like this, it's free. And if you use it commercially, you have to pay $20 per month for Cloudflare. So it's not $500, but it's still money. But for a company, it's little money because they don't have to have a certificate anymore. And it's all working, and it's spread around the globe. So if you go to your application, it's loading super fast because it's all cached by Cloudflare. The vhost on CloudEnd. The normal URLs for CouchDB are in the red, so they are Bloggr and underscore design, and I don't know who come up with that crap, but it's not the way I like my URLs to be. You see it in the above. You see for this presentation, I also took I made an application, but it has the strange URLs you don't want to see. I didn't install a vhost for it, but on CloudEnd you can, and on any CouchDB system, if you use it yourself, you can install a vhost or select a vhost, and the URL like this is just moved to only this blogger.xmap.com host. And it's, I've made a print screen of how it's done in the CloudEnd backend, but it's just writing this and the URL and you're done.
What if you click on the little lock on the HTTPS? Is it going to say that it's provided by Cloudflare?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's a completely...
Can you see?
Yeah, I think that's...
No, it's the details from the...
Well, it says valid certificate.
Yeah.
View certificate.
Do you see it?
Maybe no.
Oh, down at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's from Cloudflare, but it's a completely legal certificate, and they renew it every time. So you've got now the new certificate system that open.
Let's encrypt.
Let's encrypt.
Let's encrypt.
Yeah, that's the name. And then you have got to have a system running yourself, and then you have to change the certificate every month or every 3 months, I don't know. It's just a system that's also automatically doing that. So you don't, if you install it once, and then your certificate is always renewed, but then you have to have a backend. And I don't need a backend anymore for authentication. I don't need it for the application. I don't need it, and for the data I don't need it. So I don't need a backend. And for the certificates, I had to install a complete backend, or I have to pay $20 to Cloudflare. So. Yeah, that's how the setup from the system is done. The location for account, it's not that I'm connected to IBM or CloudEnd, but I like it that they have a data center in Amsterdam, so my customers can be sure that data is stored in the Netherlands. To get the application running like this, from your database, you have to deploy it to your database. So that's, for some people, that's a strange concept that you have your data and your Ember application in the database. But for me, after working with Couch and Pouch, I thought there's no difference between data and vendor files. So I made this Ember CLI deploy for the deploy pipeline system from Ember, and if you use it, it will deploy your application to your database, and you can run it from you can run your complete application directly from your database. I can perhaps show how it's, if I don't know how fast the internet is here. I can try to. I'm now starting the system in administrator mode, but from this weekend, for if you enable the development mode in Windows 10, we've got symlinks. So it's almost 2017, and we now have got symlinks, and we don't have to do this anymore. It's new.
So, sorry, because of symlinks, you don't have to start it in administrator mode anymore? Because symlinks was making it slow?
That was the only reason to do it.
Almost. I think it's still a bit slower, but it's getting there.
Because I always run it in administrator mode because it's way faster than...
Yep.